everybody, and welcome back to Galactic Reviews. We are here to do the review for the Bad Batch episodes 11 through 14, and we will go ahead and go right into it. Spoiler alert going forward, we'll start off with brief summary. 11 was the Empire goes on Ryloth and is now basically taking over the people like they did on Raxus in episode 10, and Cham Syndulla from Clone Wars and also from Star Wars Rebels is alive in this period, and he is not quite too thrilled about it, but he is willing to at least try for some peace, and it's got Hera in it. So, and the Bad Batch are in it for like 5 seconds, but it's more so about a setup for episode 12, which is about the Bad Batch rescuing the Syndullas from the Empire. Episode 13, basically them doing a job for Sid to help her recapture her base because she apparently just sucks at fortifying her base. Episode 14 is about the Bad Batch getting asked by Rex to go help rescue a fellow clone who wants to desert from the Empire. And that's pretty much the summary of every single episode. All right, so who wants to go first and say what they thought about it?
A lot of filler in a four episode span. There's a good amount of filler.
I mean, I thought 14 was probably the best out of the three of them. I liked 11 and 12 way more than 13. So, but yeah, I know a lot of filler, a lot of Easter eggs, but also a lot of filler.
So far, I think that's mostly what this show has been about, is just Easter eggs.
Yeah.
A lot of Easter eggs.
Episode 12 and 14 were kind of like a close runner-up to my favorites. Just 12 for different reasons from 14.
12 did actually give us a lot more on the clones than I was thinking it was going to, and that's more so at the end when Hauser was going in and trying to rescue his squad from doing all the atrocious things that they were sent there to prevent the people of Ryloth from happening to him. Yeah, I thought it was very interesting, especially since it seems to show that the effects of Order 66 are starting to either wear off or it's starting to just go back into what Legends had, where clone troopers were defecting after, or they were either just splitting off, retiring, going their separate ways after the Empire became the Empire. Like, it's a little bit of a mix of both, it seems like.
Yeah, that's what I was about to agree with you with is, see, Order 66 to me wasn't a strict, you have to listen to your higher ups. It was just Jedi's were traitors, eliminate them.
Yeah.
Any other interaction with any other fighter group, it just was just like normal feelings.
And that's kind of seen with Crosshair in almost every single episode, where he acts just like Crosshair, except he's distinctively following orders like they did in Order 66. However, as the thing is starting to progress, he's kind of gotten more latent with it, as it seems, as can be seen in 12, where he is more so fixed on the Bad Batch, more so than trying to find Hera, which you would think Crosshair would be able to do to some capacity. You do get some Easter eggs, which can get into speculation. We get to see Gregor in episode 14, which you get to see with Rex and Wolf in Rebels. And you get to see also that Gregor is starting to lose his mental capacity, which isn't uncommon for Gregor, as he's getting more and more like his Rebel counterpart, or Rebel version of him, than his Clone Wars version of him that we got to see in one episode, as he's starting to get more crazy, probably due to the explosion and everything that happened to him there during that whole giant gaseous explosion that he somehow survived, even though he was right in the middle of it. We got to see Scorch from Delta Squad, which is probably the biggest Easter egg that we get to see. We get to see Hera and the Syndullas in episodes 11 and 12. I was honestly expecting for Hera's mom to die in these two episodes, just because she's supposed to also die during this period, from what I remember. I really have nothing else to say episode-wise. As far as arcs go, I think Echo gets somewhat of an arc, or at least somewhat of a character build moment, where he tells Hunter and Tech to not leave Gregor behind due to him not being left behind on Skako Minor. He was talking about that. That's somewhat of a character arc for Echo, considering that him and Tech have gotten no character development whatsoever. In episode, I believe it is 12, you find out Tech is a freaking good pilot.
I don't know what you're expecting him with not being a good pilot. His name's Tech.
I mean, I didn't really expect him to be a good pilot. I expected him to be at least decently great, considering that he wasn't necessarily chosen for his flying abilities, but it was good to see.
That's fair. Yeah, that was cool. You saw it more in 14 as well.
Yeah, but not to the same, well,
Nah, not to the same.
not to the same capacity as 12, but it was still good.
Yes.
I'm trying to think what happened in 13. Actually, no, I know what happened in 13. I just don't know. There's no really character development. I think what they tried going for was a Sid's
I was about to
character
say,
development,
it's mostly just for Sid.
but she's such a side character and she has no importance in this thing that it seems redundant. Like she's a low level character that wasn't even brought into like episode 5. So I mean, it's counterproductive. Wish it would have been more Tech or Echo getting more of a character arc. Granted, Echo's had a lot of character development in Clone Wars, but would have liked to seen something from Tech. Because I mean, you've gotten one from Crosshair being the bad guy. You've gotten one from both Wrecker and Hunter having somewhat more of a bond with Omega than Tech and Echo. So I would have liked to have seen something with Tech and Echo in that regards. Jack, this is something I will speculate with you. With Scorch and the Commandos actually officially being involved in 14, which I think is the biggest thing out of this whole thing. What are your thoughts of seeing more of the Delta Squad being chosen by Crosshair to go hunt them down?
Personally, I don't think that will happen. I think Crosshair is going to take his personal squad that he's been training with, or training himself, and then probably maybe a good handful of other troops with him. Because I think the way they have the clone commandos set up is they're going to stay on that facility to continue training the future stormtroopers, or the TK troopers, or whatever they call them.
That's their new designation number that they have in, I believe, Empire Strikes
Yeah.
Back or whatever. And
Yeah.
that's the numbers that stormtroopers are given. So I mean, they're bringing this around real quick, and especially with the new armor that they've got, sort of a mix of clone and stormtrooper armor that you get to see in episode 14. So just a whole bunch of progression.
But I think as of right now, with them capturing Hunter or Hunter being surrounded, I think Delta Squad will be involved with this. At least I know Scorch will for sure. As for the rest, it's a good question. I don't know if they're actually at the facility or not, but
yeah, well, I would think that they would want to stay together. I would actually be surprised if they don't do the whole arc where Sev got abandoned on Kashyyyk. I think that was still an interesting arc. And actually, the person who did it wanted there to be another game where Sev was actually found later on and actually became one of the leading people in the rebellion.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. And to be honest, I kind of would like that, because if you ever play Republic Commando, you know how overpowered he was compared to the others. He made the art of killing more of a thing than even Crosshair has done, whether it be long range or short range. So he was just a very good, no pun intended, hunter.
Also, I would also like to see something, since they brought in Delta Squad, I would also like to see something with Omega Squad, considering that they were very well intertwined in the Legends books.
Very true.
And to the fact that if that is the case, then they could have the whole Scarada clan still on like a moon in Mandalore, like in the books. But that would still mean Darman and Niner would be at the facility.
Yeah,
Because
no,
I mean,
that's an idea, but there's just too little information to go off this new facility, because all we know is commandos
There's
were
50
there to train.
yeah, but we also know there's only 50 commandos, and commandos were about the most
Elite, as possible.
They were the most elite, but they were also the most individualistic,
Yeah.
depending on which commando squad was what. Because I mean, Delta Squad was the way they were because of the guy that trained them, so they were very loyal to the Empire. Whereas Omega Squad and different other squads, because of the people that trained them, they were more loyal to their family than to the Empire. So
Well, I mean, you also got to discount 2 squads worth, because there were 2 different commando squads that thought Order 66 was just a joke.
Which I'm surprised that they didn't exploit, which I thought would have been, which I mean, Hunter does kind of say, this is a joke, right? This can't be real.
Yeah.
At some point at the beginning of the thing. So, I mean, they knew that it was possible because, I mean, strategically, it didn't really make much sense that the Jedi would do that during this time frame. So, I mean, some squads, I think it was like, I forget, it was maybe like Ion Squad, I think, that did that. And then I forget the other squad's name, but Ion Squad ended up doing that. And they were hunted down by Darth Vader, if I remember that correctly. And two of the members didn't make it, but two of them did, from what I
Yeah.
remember.
It was just one of those things. Like it'll be interesting to see what happens further with Commandos if they decide
Yeah.
to continue on with that idea. But yeah, no. To be honest, it took me a second to realize it was Scorch. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it is him.
I was shocked when I saw him. I was like, "There's no way that's Scorch." And then
But I explained
lo and
how he
behold,
discovered him real quick because Scorch is like one of the top commandos.
Yeah.
Speaking of Scorch, we finally found out what happened after that like radioactive blast that Crosshair took. He just got
Yeah.
scar tissue on the back of his head.
Yeah, we got to see what happened to him after what happened to him in 8. It didn't seem to affect his eyesight at all, which is seen all throughout episodes 11 and 12. And it doesn't seem to affect his chip at all, as can be seen in 12 when he says, "Arrest the traitors," which is something that Wrecker says, especially to all the Bad Batch, that they're all traitors. So, I mean, he still could be controlled by the chip, which is possible considering that it took him longer to get the chip to get into his brain. And especially since they amplified it at Camino, it's going to take longer for it to regress. But we also don't know how much time is passing through with each episode.
Another thing with that is the Kaminoans. They're eventually getting their expiration date hit. So that kind of leads me into, oh, maybe the Clone Rebellion is about to happen.
Yeah. And people have speculated that it's actually going to be Rex that's going to be leading that clone rebellion, along with maybe people like Wolf and Gregor and a whole bunch of different clones like Hauser that have defected.
I could see Rex doing it, but I think he needs a lot more character development in between him being able to command that.
Yeah, but you've also got like, especially if it happens to be the case, you've also got people like Commander Wolf and Captain Gregor. But I mean, with those three guys heading up that, if they are heading up that thing along with the Bad Batch, they could actually pull it off if they're like in command of the whole thing. And I don't think they're going to do anything with Omega Squad, but it's nice to speculate that they will, especially since they've only got 2 more episodes left.
Mhm.
Well, and here's the thing with that. That's why I think there may be a second season to that. It's because
Sure.
if they decide to do the whole Clone Rebellion and shows what happens with that, they could easily make another season out of that.
But I would also like for them to make like a Clone Commando series where it's just them going over, and it doesn't have to be on any single squad. They could go from one squad and hop around to different squads, and they can just put in as much legend stuff as you want, but also you can make up so much different stuff because there's so many different squads that just were not mentioned or died prematurely. There's a whole bunch of stuff that could happen, and it'd be crazy if they brought in the Nolarks and Scarada and all that stuff, because those were about the craziest that they got.
We did see that the setup for kind of the big finale, I feel, Hunter being left behind. I feel like it's just going to be a save Crosshair, or not save Crosshair. It's going to be a save Hunter mission mixed with defeating Crosshair. That's what it feels like.
Another thing, I think Omega is starting to come out a lot because Omega is absorbing a lot of information, especially from Teb, because she even thought about plugging in the Gonk droid to stabilize power.
Well,
So
I mean, that's Gonk is essentially a power droid anyway.
yeah, but it was just, I think she's taking traits from all of them and becoming like this mixed bag.
All they are just traits taken from
Django. Yeah,
which
but
is
they're also
technically
traits taken from Django and upped like 10. Like it's not the same as Django, but it's upped really big. She's kind of got a mix of them, but she's not as specialized. It's kind of like what you said in one episode, Andrew, where Hunter's like a mix of all of them.
Yeah.
She is more so a mix of all of them, whereas Hunter is more so of a leader and a scout at the same time. She is more so she is more so basically has all their traits rolled into one, just not as
Specialized.
not as specialized. They've got the whole Bad Batch, and it makes you wonder what's going to happen to them. Where does Omega go? Like none of these characters are brought up, so it's making me wonder how are they going to fit all this in and still keep that canon.
Thank you everyone once again for joining us on our Bad Batch review series. It is coming to a very fast close. I think we only got 1 more episode left in the tank with 2 episodes left in the show. So be sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying our series, and if you are enjoying some of our insightful wisdom from our lore masters. And we will see you all next time.